Why can't it just stay small? This new player that I'm using, I don't know if it's that new. I don't know. But yeah, not what I wanted to do. Well, I'll find it for the end of the show. The new player, it's kind of like opens kind of like a browser. It doesn't open in just one size. And oh, there's another one. God, I'm not even drinking coffee today, and I'm still hacking. So this new player, I'm getting on everything here. It plays, the entry song, what I wanted to. And then when it stops, instead of going to, there we go. Instead of just stopping, it does this like major reset. And I don't even know how to, it goes to like a bigger size on my monitor. Like, what are you doing? There we go. Get the mic out of my face and in my mouth. Well, Super Van Ken's going to like that one. All right, today, Matt is traveling again. He's gave me info. He's going to be having a busy week, or excuse me, a busy month. So we might not be seeing too much of him. But I mean, dude has his own podcast that is also daily. Doing some catching up in his own life right now. He's back to being single. He's not running for Congress. Go travel. Enjoy. We'll see him soon enough. So just me today. We'll be talking about one of my favorites. We love him here, as we love all of our fascist friends. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has suddenly realized, after all these years, it's painted crosswalks that's the problem. Nothing else. Those goddamn rainbow colors got to go. That Black Lives Matter murals and the tribute to the victims of the Pulse nightclub massacre, near Orlando, Florida. Or maybe it was actually I'm not sure exactly where Pulse was. Everybody pretty much says Orlando. Is already gone. That's how much of a fascist asshole this guy is. So we'll be telling that story in hour number 2. Trump versus the Smithsonian. According to Trump, the Smithsonian Institution, an institution that's been up for longer than his family has been in this country. Yeah, wait till we do our episode on anchor babies. Donald Trump's mother was an illegal immigrant. 2 of 3 of Donald Trump's wives, illegal immigrants. That means Tiffany is the only one born here to both parents being citizens. Donald Trump is not. He's an anchor baby. His oldest children from Ivanka Sr. or whatever her name was, the dead one, anchor baby. and I'll bet none of them are dry. I'm watching this video. I've got the. Oh, I can pause this. Okay, good. I've got the Tallahassee Democrat is one of the tabs on my desktop today, because that's one of those stories about the crosswalks. But it's got other videos playing. Tallahassee Police Department arrests 16 in multi-agency sting operation. Operation Rabbit Hole is a continuation of local law enforcement's efforts to protect children in the community. And I will bet you none of them are drag queens. But back to Donnie's illegitimacy. Tiffany's the only one that's legit. DJ TJ, Eric, and Ivanka, all from an illegitimate mom. So they're anchor babies, even though they were born here. According to Daddy, they got to go. But don't worry, Dad's coming with you. Sorry about your luck. And the tall one, Baron, also got to go. No to the anchor babies. Sorry about your luck. Yeah, wonder if that gets me a knock at the door. And then, I subscribe to all these emails, all these, other journalists, and I get these email alerts and so on. And so that's an email that I got from somebody. It's on my desktop here. I just got to find it. And I got all these others. So I thought, well, in that segment, we're also going to go through some of these other emails and check out some of those news stories and, see how long it takes us. Former National Security Advisor and Ambassador John Bolton's home raided this morning by the FBI. Allergies are kicking my ass, but now my nose itches. Remember how we're constantly told the Trump administration brings in nothing but the best and the brightest? Among others, of course, and perhaps this is why he was the best and the brightest. You do know Bolton worked for Trump. So let's go back to that and review that best and brightest thing. Maybe at least agree that there's room for improvement. I could actually just downright pick my nose because it itches. Sorry if you're seeing that on camera. And now here he is with whatever issues. Fox News, not without their opportunity to spin the story. And what do we have? As luck would have it, another story to spin the angle right back in Fox's lap. Gotta love that legacy media. But we're going to start off today. I don't know if she's a congresswoman or I got all these emails on my desk. Here we go. I don't know if Congresswoman of the Year. I just received the Congresswoman of the Year award. This is an email directly from Elise Stefanik. And in this email, she's going to lie to you. Shocker. A mega moron lying? Stop it. That's not going to happen. They tell us that doesn't happen. So no reason not to believe them. This was truly an honor. How much did it cost you, Elise? Let's get down to it. I just received the Congresswoman of the Year award for deciding to withdraw my nomination to serve in President Trump's cabinet in order to save, all capitals, our House majority. And thank God for that decision. Oh, I know. I'm sure he's happy. Because right now we're the only one seat over the threshold to declare a majority in the House. And that seat is ours. One is in all capital and underlined. Ours is in boldface and italics. Our razor-thin margin is the only thing that separates a Trump House majority. And here's the biggest. This is what they do. A Trump House majority from a Congress controlled by AOC and Ilhan Omar. No, it's not. Congress would not be controlled by AOC. Just like right now, it's not controlled by MGT. And they don't tell you this because this is their scare tactic. Why work with the other side? It's not like that's what we're supposed to do or anything. Oh, wait. And that's why the left is targeting us and watching our every move. No, bitch. It's because your boss, the one that you refer to as a boss, not the American people, but Mango Mussolini, Il Dickhead Duce, is a fascist. Recently, at a non-political event I attended, dozens of paid protesters from a dark money left-wing group swarmed the area in an attempt to intimidate us. Elise. Allow me. I didn't get this far in the email. I would have had this pulled up. Here we go. Sorry for the. I'm frantically and thoroughly reading, but let me show you pathetic attempts at intimidation, shall we? What just happened? Let me try that again.
Hey, what's going on here? Hey, now we're here making...
So these are Border Patrol agents who are not on the border. This is in downtown Los Angeles at the Museum for the Japanese internment, when we pretty much did this same shit back during World War II. And now, to honor those people we treated poorly, there's a museum in Los Angeles showing what we did wrong as a nation. Gavin Newsom, governor of California, was in the building holding a press conference. And the green uniformed Gestapo agents from T-Rump, who are so proud of what they're doing, they wear masks, are here in force. And this asshat can't even really explain it.
Los Angeles is a safer place since we won't have politicians. We do that ourselves.
Since we don't have politicians that will do that, we'll do that ourselves. That is not what you say as a supervisor. when your so-called demonstrations and the riots were in all of one square block, and the LAPD was doing just fine without you. That's what's not being said, because it would piss people off. It would squash Trump's authority, which should have been squashed by impotent courts in the first place. The National Guard that he's using, illegal. It's in writing that it's illegal. He must do that in conjunction with the approval of the governor, who blatantly said it's not necessary and did not approve. Still doesn't. And this is what's one of the problems with our system. We're just now getting to that trial. It's essentially over. It's my understanding. I don't know. I'd have to. Let's look that up. Are active duty Marines still in LA? Marines are leaving Los Angeles. And now all of them are leaving the city. Finally. But how about the Pentagon said Tuesday is ending the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops in Los Angeles. That's because you couldn't feed them. Remember when they were sleeping on top of each other? I mean, not that I would complain about that. Some of them are hot. Of course, I'd probably get the fat guys. Anyway, back to the lying bitch. Okay. There you go. So I showed you actual attempts at intimidation. Not only are Democrats furious that our seat saved the majority, but they also see the nonstop headlines showing that we're closing the gap on Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, to achieve the impossible by electing a Republican governor in New York. Okay, they're not closing a gap. What's happening by the Republicans is not popular in New York. You might see shit like that in, what is it, the Daily News, whatever the rag newspaper is in New York. It's the shitty right-wing one where literally their headlines are comical. It's no coincidence that this paid agitation comes just after AOC came to our congressional district. And how's it feel to be intimidated? And according to the Wall Street Journal headline, AOC Mamdani, who's the leading candidate to be the next mayor of New York, and progressives rake in cash. The radical left sent us their message of intimidation. Now it's our turn to respond with a message of our own. Oh, here comes the money. I need your help proving that their intimidation tactics didn't just fail, they backfired. Nobody's intimidating. Let's talk about your troops there that you sent to LA and trying to intimidate. And now let's talk about the troops that are being increased in Washington for no reason. He just said yesterday how safe he feels. Doesn't that mean that crime's down? Oh, wait, crime was already down. Crime was already down when Mango Mussolini went in. What are we doing? Congressman of the Year. Oh, my God. These asshats love patting themselves on the back. Oh, wow. Oh, Elise. Aren't you pathetic? All right, gang. Yesterday I did the entire show, 0 commercials. So we'll be editing that for the RSS feeds later. I do got to take a break right now. When we come back, up next, former National Security Advisor and Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, had his home raided earlier this morning by the FBI. And apparently, according to Fox News, his attention was elsewhere. When we come back, we'll find out he wasn't the only one. This is Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after these words. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Okay, so I'm just trying to sort these emails out. I can do it there too. That's actually pretty cool. All right. Anyway, tone tip. You see right now, if you're watching, on the screen is what's called a QR code. You know what they are. You can scan that, and what that's going to do is it's going to take you to the Tone Tip website, where I've been asking you, and I still will ask, for those who haven't or for those who are new, download the Tone Tip app. In that last commercial, you got a Tone Tip. And it gives you so much more information about Momentum Fitness and Wellness that we can't put into 30 or 60 seconds. But the problem is, if you're watching today's show from your phone or a tablet or whatever device you would scan that QR code with, you can't scan it because you can't scan the device that you're using, watching, and scan. It can't do both. With the Tone Tip, we can send you that information over the airwaves. And the Tone Tip app will download that information for you, bookmark it, hold it. And don't worry, because later on today, you're going to hear that same ad spot all over again. But you won't get another Tone Tip if you got that one already. So go to tonetip.com, because this is new technology that nobody else is using yet. We are in beta with Tone Tip, which means they're just using us. This is an awesome opportunity, and we want your say. We want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think? Go to tonetip.com, download the app, and take part in this experiment on future technology. Tonetip.com, and remember, just the tip. All right, so earlier this morning, former ambassador John Bolton. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on one second. Former ambassador John Bolton woke up to a surprise. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was tipped off, because all this administration did during the campaign was bitch about how legitimate crimes, and maybe they could have been prosecuted in a different order. And perhaps if they were, we'd have a much better situation on our hands right now. But all they've been doing was bitching about politicizing and weaponizing the DOJ. What do you think he's been doing for the past 8 months? But weaponizing the DOJ and the military and his office and disgracing it on top of it. Well, now, former ambassador, former national security advisor, probably as a result, potentially one of the most dangerous men in America, John Bolton, woke up to a raid by the FBI, because I'm sure it was legit. Even though a judge signed the warrant, whatever. This one, according to CNBC, FBI raids the home of John Bolton, former Trump national security advisor. That was the other thing that we were talking about. Remember how Trump says, oh, he's so good at his job. Best there is. Yeah, nobody better. Wasn't this one of Trump's appointments? Raids home of John Bolton, former Trump national security advisor. I guess you don't know how to pick them, Donnie. Or maybe you're going after the wrong people. We should probably examine that one too. FBI agents raided the Maryland home of John Bolton, the former national security advisor to President Donald Trump. The raid is part of a national security investigation in search of classified records. A person familiar with the matter told NBC News. Bolton has become a staunch critic of Trump, who called him stupid recently after criticizing the president's meeting on the Ukraine war with Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin. Yeah, Putin's not a president. He's not a leader, but I guess CNBC is being nice. FBI agents on Friday morning raided the Maryland home of John Bolton, the former national security advisor to President Donald Trump and a staunch critic of the president. The raid is part of a national security investigation in search of classified records. Why did they put this twice? Oh, the key points. Okay. The probe is eyeing multiple instances of the use of classified documents in leaks to news media. NBC reported that the investigation into Bolton began during the Biden administration, but did not go further before President Joe Biden left office in January. Bolton served as Trump's national security advisor from April 2018 through September 2019. An FBI official said Friday the FBI is conducting court-authorized activity. Oh, court-authorized activity, because I'm sure it's on the up and up. We'll talk about FBI being on the up and up in this very story. There is no threat to public safety, but declined to comment on Bolton, according to NBC. The statement indicates a judge signed a search warrant for Bolton's residence in Bethesda, just outside of Washington, D.C. It is not known if Bolton was home at the time of the raid. That's key. Remember that. It is not known if Bolton was even home. Sip. It's like we're a drinking game or something. About half an hour after it began, at around 7 a.m. Eastern, he tweeted about Russia and its war on Ukraine, writing that Trump will continue pushing for meetings because Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, but I don't see these talks making any progress. We already discussed the ridiculousness behind his want for a Nobel Peace Prize. A woman who appeared to be Bolton's wife was at the residence during the raid. FBI Director Crash Patel tweeted, "No one is above the law. At FBI agents on mission." At the same time as agents were raiding Bolton's home. Attorney General Pam Bondi retweeted Patel's tweet, writing, "America's safety isn't negotiable. Justice will be pursued. Always." Well, Pammy, I guess that means you're fucked. And Patel's deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, in his own post on Twitter wrote, "Public corruption will not be tolerated." I guess that means all three of you are fucked. Oh, I wonder if that's cryptic. I mean, that's not going to age well, because this administration is nothing but corrupt. Trump later told reporters that he did not know about the raid. Shocker! Another lie. Either that, or you just proved that your administration is pathetically incompetent. When one of your former advisors gets raided by your administration, you should probably know about it. This is probably one where we got to say, I got to wake up the boss. The New York Post first reported the raid. That's the rag I was trying to think of earlier. Patel ordered the investigation into Bolton because they're political enemies, according to the Post, who cited a Trump administration official. Trump lashed out against Bolton on August 13 because why not? That's what he does. After the former advisor criticized the president for agreeing to host a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska to discuss how to end Russia's war against Ukraine. Very unfair media is at work on my meeting with Putin, constantly quoting fired losers and really dumb people like John Bolton. Fired loser, really dumb person. Didn't you hire him, Donnie? Isn't this one of your guys? Who just said that even though the meeting is on American soil, that Putin has already won. Well, how did it turn out for you, Donnie? Maybe this guy's not so dumb, because you sucked. You sucked, Donald, like you do every day. What's that all about? We are winning on everything. Meanwhile, you're not winning on shit. On August 17th, after he met with Putin, Trump wrote, "This war can be ended now, but stupid people like Senator Chris Murphy, John Bolton, and others make it much harder to do so." Wasn't it supposed to be ended 7 months ago on day one in 24 hours? Yes. No, you were not joking about that. You meant it. And your base, because they ain't much brighter, bought it. And maybe Elon Musk. Something about not having to vote again. Yada, yada, yada. Trump canceled Bolton's protective detail from the U.S. Secret Service after he was sworn in for a second term in the White House in January. Bolton had been under Secret Service protection because of plots by Iran to kill him. Trump was previously indicted in federal court in Florida on charges related to his retention of classified government records at his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach after leaving the White House in January 2021, and with his efforts to thwart them from being recovered by government officials. So, is the FBI going to raid the White House? Trump said on September 10th, 2019, that he fired Bolton the prior evening. I disagreed strongly with many of his suggestions, as did others in the administration. That's because they're sheep. Trump wrote in a tweet that day, "Why are you tweeting? Aren't you supposed to be a president?" Fox News, you watching that? Something about having attention elsewhere? The Justice Department dropped the case in late 2024, shortly after Trump was elected president, because of the Department of Policy against prosecuting sitting presidents. That was a mistake. The Justice Department sued Bolton in 2020 in an effort to block the publication and sale of his book, The Room Where It Happened, which was a damning account of his time as Trump's national security advisor. Remember, let's go back. Remember where we were talking about weaponizing? Because Trump actually committed crimes that needed to be investigated. This is a guy exercising free speech. And there's one thing when there are certain things that he might tell that are classified. But let's be clear. Isn't that the phrase that everybody's using today? Let's be clear, Donald. That's not why your Justice Department sued. Instead of, I don't know, maybe you. This lawsuit was filed during Trump's last year of his first term. A Justice Department lawyer told a judge that year that the book was a flagrant breach of Bolton's agreement not to write about classified matters. The department dropped the lawsuit in June 2021, 5 months after Biden took office. Bolton served as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations during the administration of President George W. Bush. Now, before you go saying, oh, it was dropped because it was Biden, well, maybe it was dropped because there really was no case and because the Justice Department really did have other things to do. You know, like not prosecute and house 1,200 terrorists or 1,500 terrorists that attacked our nation's capital. Right, Donald? But the story doesn't end there. I mean, why would it, right? Fox News is alleging that Bolton's tweet...
We're back with the Fox News alert. We're just...
We'll take that in a second. Bolton's tweet during the raid shows that his focus was elsewhere as the FBI searched his house. Let's see what Fox News has to say about this matter.
Learning the FBI agents have raided the Maryland home of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. It happened at 7 a.m. this morning.
Shortly after the raid began, FBI Director Kash Patel posting on X, quote, "No one is above the law. FBI
It's Twitter.
Agents on a mission."
David Spunt joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, David.
Hey, guys, not much we can say at this point, but information.
I'm sorry. Is his name David Smut? Is that what they call him? David Smut? It's appropriate for the network.
Information will continue to develop. As you mentioned, about 7 o'clock this morning, FBI agents raided Ambassador Bolton's home. Notable, we're being told by two government sources that they are looking for classified documents as part of a potential leak investigation. We're told that Ambassador Bolton is not in custody. He's not under arrest. But it is notable they are at his Maryland home right now. We don't know how many agents are there. We're waiting to get a picture of the scene coming in right now. But
I hate seersucker suits. Oh, God.
we're told Ambassador Bolton, who was just on TV on another network a couple days ago talking about the Russia-Putin-Trump summit, is now under FBI investigation. Now, I want to be clear, these are long, and we're looking at some live photographs right now in Bethesda. That's clearly the road where Ambassador Bolton lives, and you can see some police cars outside there. But, this is going to be a long process. We saw the raid of former Trump advisor Roger Stone's home down in Florida several years ago. Eventually, he went to trial. We saw famously in August of 2022, exactly 3 years ago, a little bit more than 3 years ago, the raid on Mar-a-Lago that still has the FBI in hot water. That's a little bit of a different situation as it was a former.
Yeah, that's because the guy they raided at Mar-a-Lago is now their boss. And remember that we're not weaponizing anything? Weren't those agents fired? I wonder. See if Fox News reported on that accurately.
Former president, but it deals with classified documents, guys.
So I did not realize this, but there was a probe going on when President Trump was in office last time because John Bolton wrote a book and he violated his NDA, the president said, in doing it. And he felt as though.
Let's rephrase that so it actually makes sense. According to the president, he violated a non-disclosure agreement. That doesn't mean he violated a non-disclosure agreement. Because after all, we know honest and how much integrity Mango Mussolini actually has.
So there were classified information in that book. The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump.
Because remember, he's not weaponizing anything.
Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents.
No, he can't access anything. Still having a security clearance, I can tell you that security clearances just mean that if you need to know, you can be informed. That doesn't mean he just walks into any of his old offices and says, hey, I want to see today's cables. Classified messages. That's not how it works. And you know what's sad about this story? Fox News knows that. But they're not going to tell you because John Bolton's the victim, or John Bolton's the bad guy, whether he is or not.
Documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away.
Remember, nothing's being weaponized here against political enemies. Due process, I'm sure, is the joke that they'll call this. So, FBI.
Well, Fox News alert, a New York appeals court just this morning has thrown out President Donald Trump's massive civil fraud penalty. The decision.
That was yesterday. Yeah, so Fox News is worried about what John Bolton is tweeting while his home is being raided. What's Kash Patel doing? The director of the FBI is tweeting while somebody's home is being raided. This big, important case. And we've got the director the deputy director and the attorney general on their personal cell phones tweeting. Let me take you back. The year was 2017. I was in the Washington field office, and an investigation was conducted on me because I was supposedly tweeting while on the clock at work. Same thing here. Well, I was able to prove that the accounts from which I was tweeting were fake accounts, actually from an application and a platform I wasn't even familiar with, something called Tumblr, which is like the even pornier, porn-friendly platform like Twitter. I told this story the other day. In short, I was allegedly accessing gay pornography, which, if you're new, I am gay, so that would fit. And also Hillary comments or posting, I guess it's not tweeting if it's not Twitter, posting to Tumblr pro-Hillary comments that I made while at assorted protection assignments and while also on the duty desk, the operations center of the Washington field office. One, again, I didn't even know what the fuck Tumblr was at the time of this investigation. And I offered up my phone for full inspection. Do you know what the agent said? No, don't worry. You're not the first one to tell us this. Now, I have to compliment them on the gays that they selected for me to post, for me, more air quotes, to post. They were hot guys. I just wish I actually found them and got a chance to make some posts with them myself. So, but that, now here we are, the top 3 people in the Justice Department, all on their personal phones, tweeting. Oh, but this is pro-regime, so I guess that makes it okay. Let's go into the comments, and don't forget, you can call us. I'm not going to bitch at you. 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY-LGBT. And also, you can now get us if you're in Australia. Oh, there's another one too. Actually, I forgot about this one. WhatsApp. Now, I guess it pretty much means anywhere in the world if you do it through WhatsApp. +1 267 716 1932. And then Australia. Local call for you if you're in the 07 area code. Or if you're in the 08, dial 07 449. No, sorry. 4994. 07 4994 3165. That's 2 days old, so forgive me. But that number again, and they're floating across the screen, 07 4994 3165. All those numbers are open right now. Give us, I got to put this down where I can see it, so that way when we do get calls, I'm not going to ignore them accidentally. Let's go in through some of the comments, and then I got to take a break. Superfan Ken's here. Good morning, gang. You got the spiky hair today. Rhonda DeStankum. Is that your... wow. Some of these names for Ron DeSantis. I'm guessing you are talking about Ron DeSantis. That's the only real name I can make out of that. I really wonder what the gays did to her. She's such an ignorant. See you next Tuesday. Is next Tuesday election day? Or I don't know. Or whatever. Well, if you get a knock on the door from the Secret Service, would it be like saying hey to old colleagues? No, because they're probably a bunch of kids. I mean that literally. Like some of the people that they probably got on board by now are probably young enough to be my kids. I mean, think about it. When my parents, try not to knock your microphone over. When my parents, they're 20 years older than I am, right? So when my parents were, well, at this point, they would have turned 54. I was 33, about to turn 34 in the fall. I was already finished with my 3 years in the Philadelphia field office, and I was on my second assignment in San Francisco, where I was strutting around the gyms naked like a champ. So no, there's probably kids right out of training. And I doubt that I'm going to, because my whole... What the fuck? This shit just starts up. What the hell? Oh. We're haunted now. No, they would be young enough to be my kids. I wouldn't know them. Superfan Ken also says to make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, bookmark, comment, tell a friend, have a discussion. Don't take Jurg's words as the gospel, but use it as a starting point to do your own homework. Well said. Check your facts and list your sources. It's not that hard. That's right. Well done. Look at you. Maybe this needs to be the up the middle statement t-shirt. Yeah, you know, I had been... Oh, I'm not wearing it today. I found at Walmart a t-shirt that said, yeah, no, which is something I've always said. But now I'm getting into all these rants about common sense. And I've been saying, you know, it's not that hard more frequently, I think. So maybe I've got a new catchphrase. I'm seeing a bunch of people listening. I want to say welcome if you're listening on Twitter. Or if you're watching on Twitter, welcome. But realize that under that same profile, up the middle, the actual is at Jurg's up middle, is the Twitter Spaces broadcast also. Now, why do you just want to listen? Well, if you're in your car, first of all, or wherever, that you just need or just want audio, we're there as well, in addition to all the stations and whatever else you can go to. But I'm telling you this because you can raise your hand there, and I can have you up on the stage or whatever they call it at Twitter Spaces. And you can do that instead of calling in. It's set up, you know, the whole tech world here that is my home studio, which, by the way, again, for those that are new, I'm in my home. I'm in my living room. What used to be a living room is now a construction site. You see like walls ripped out, and that that used to be my countertops. We are still rebuilding after Hurricane Helene. And I just found out earlier this week that the financial aid I'm supposed to be getting from the government to build up, make it better, etc., isn't going to be happening. So there's that. What else is he saying here? Come on, Jurgs, say again. See you next Tuesday. But place that, I have no idea what the hell that means. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be bat. Oh, yeah, it is. A red like ban or something. The music came in like a bat out of hell. Yeah, I don't know how the hell that started up, but it is. And if you want to save money on gas, yeah, he gave us this info. I didn't create a video, or not a video, but a visual thing. But here it is. If you're familiar with the app Upside, you can use Ken's app code W63TA. Look at that. Ken supplying with some TNA. Put them. All right. Do we want to hear what this? I don't know. I guess let's look at this quick, I guess. Need a little bit of time.
Agents have raided the home of John Bolton, the man who served as President Trump's national security advisor during his first term. Take a look. This was the scene Friday morning at Bolton's home in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. Sources tell News Nation the search was related to classified documents, but Bolton has not been detained or charged with any crimes, according to the Associated Press. In a social media post just after 7 a.m. Friday, FBI Director Cash...
We don't put our lights on when we're in the driveway of a search warrant. They know where we're at. The police know where they're sitting at the end of the driveway. There is no reason to have your lights on right now, unless you want to get attention to yourself. FBI.
Patel wrote, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission." Attorney General Pam Bondi responded to the post, saying America's safety isn't negotiable. Justice will be pursued always. In a statement, the FBI said it is conducting court-authorized activity in the area of Bolton's home, and there is no threat to public safety. After serving in the Trump administration, Bolton became an
You see who that guy is behind Bolton? That was the guy who was in charge of Trump's security in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's the head of the Trump detail, who is now the director of the Secret Service. Got mixed reviews and mixed opinions on that one.
outspoken critic of President Trump, especially as it pertains to his handling of Russia's war in Ukraine. When Trump returned to office, he pulled Bolton's security clearance and revoked his Secret Service protection, despite the fact that Bolton has faced threats of assassination from Iran over his hawkish views toward the country. During an appearance on ABC's This Week earlier this month, Bolton was asked if he was concerned about being targeted by the Trump administration. Bolton said the administration has already come after him by withdrawing his security. He called Trump's second term a retribution presidency.
Yeah, and Trump said that was going to happen. Trump said that was going to happen. So we really can't blame Trump. We got to blame the asshats that voted for him. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All right. Into hour number 2. And up next, well, what do you know? Trump versus the Smithsonian. That's right. Donnie Boy is taking on a museum. Oh, that's a thumbnail. Trump on a Night at the Museum movie poster. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So PolitiFact started down here in the Tampa area. The St. Petersburg Times launched a fact-checking mechanism 18 years ago this week. Happy birthday and congrats on 18 solid years. And now being an adult and being able to vote, at least for now, and so on. That's probably not an accurate depiction, but cool statue of Washington. I've been to the, maybe this is new, a new display. I've been to that museum. And so it's fact-checking Trump's accusation about no brightness or success. That's what the headline there means. Just days after taking over Washington, D.C. law enforcement, dictator Donald Trump criticized one of the district's preeminent tourist attractions, the Smithsonian Institution. An institution that's been active for longer than his family has been in this country. The Smithsonian, founded in 1846, is a federally chartered network of 21 museums, 21 libraries, 14 education and research centers, and a zoo, many with prime locations on the National Mall. The institution is celebrated for its free admission. According to Trump, though, because Trump's a great source for information, the Smithsonian is the last remaining segment of woke. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. This woke thing. Dude, you should be so woke. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was. Yeah, slavery wasn't good. Oh, somebody tackle this guy. And how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Dash, nothing about success with a capital S. Nothing about brightness with a capital B. And nothing about the future with a capital F. Trump posted on Truth Social. You already know my opinion about people that have got to put things like that in their name, like Truth, Patriot. That was August 19th. This followed Trump's other efforts to review and alter some of the museum's exhibits, including by executive order. Because this is a democratic country, remember? Trump's depiction misrepresents the Smithsonian's museum's expansiveness and their portrayal of U.S. history. It was also a departure from 2017 comments he made about the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture, in which he called it a beautiful tribute to so many American heroes. Now he's back to motherfucking it. Slavery lasted more than 200 years and involved millions of people enslaved over generations. Its violence, brutality, and complexities are reflected in Smithsonian Museum exhibits. But the museums, which also address science, art, and technology, are filled with many celebrations of American achievement, patriotism, success, and innovation, including many of the most popular exhibits. PolitiFact reporters toured 3 of the most visited Smithsonian museums the day after Trump's comments. Black American success on display. Trump's concern that the museums discuss only how bad slavery was could be directed at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, in which opened in 2016. I was there for that. And unabashedly details slavery's horrors, but it includes much more. A walk through the museum's 6 levels reveals its overwhelming focus on Black Americans' resilience, strength, and success. The top 2 floors celebrate the top 2 floors celebrate Black Americans' achievement and cultural influence. Chuck Berry's Cadillac Eldorado, nice. That's the picture for those of you on audio only or radio. Remember, all these links and stories will be in the show notes. Rooms are packed with memorabilia from iconic Black musicians like Oscar de la Renta. The Oscar de la Renta gown Whitney Houston wore while performing The Greatest Love of All in New York in 1986. Prince's lavender suit, Chuck Berry's red Cadillac Eldorado, and Louis Armstrong's custom-made trumpet. Another top floor wing focuses on Black Americans' legacy in film, television, and theater, highlighting such stars such as Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, and Paul Robeson. Another wing celebrates Black athletes, including Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and Serena Williams. The exhibits don't ignore racism and segregation's influence on their lives and careers, but often focus on how their work opened doors, defied stereotypes, and helped dismantle oppressive systems. It's a statue of Jesse Owens, the track and field athlete and record-setting gold medalist at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. A third floor exhibit titled Making a Way Out of No Way also highlights Black Americans' accomplishments. It includes a section on Dr. Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon who ran for president and served as U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary during Trump's first term. The museums focus on patriotism. Smithsonian museums are also chock full of patriotic items and exhibits celebrating American culture. A centerpiece of the National Museum of American History, the second most visited Smithsonian property with 2.1 million visitors in 2024, is the battle-scarred flag that inspired the Star-Spangled Banner. The museum describes a national treasure. Patriotism also runs deep through the American History Museum's extensive military exhibit. It includes musket-toting mannequins, field cannons, large paintings of Civil War battles, and World War II victory newspaper headlines. The exhibit includes both a picture of a whipped slave and a Confederate battle flag. And it ends at a room honoring recipients of the Medal of Honor, our nation's highest award for military service. The National Air and Space Museum is similarly patriotic. The museum, the Smithsonian's third most popular, with 1.9 million visitors in 2024, marks the United States' leading role in reaching outer space. That just looks heavy. Both the American History and Air and Space Museums honor American innovation and achievement. The Air and Space Museum's most famous exhibits, including the Wright brothers' airplane, the Spirit of St. Louis. I was going to say, that's not the Wright brothers' airplane. Okay, I'll slow down because I think it's kind of merging together. The Air and Space Museum's most famous exhibits include the Wright brothers airplane, comma, the Spirit of St. Louis, which Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic. Yes, that's it. When I first read that, it was like they were saying the Spirit of St. Louis is the name of the Wright brothers airplane. That is not the case. And relics for many U.S. missions to the moon. We rate Trump's statement, pants on fire. I forgot about that. They have different levels of when they evaluate your statement as a fact-checking apparatus. It's like, yes, this is gospel or whatever. And their worst is pants on fire. There's the link I'm going to use, so I can put it in the show notes. You can refer back to this if you need to. I'm going to go through some of these other emails too, and we're going to wrap up with DeSantis. Don't forget, if you are on Twitter, you can join us on Twitter Spaces, and we can bring you up on stage and have a chat live during the show. You can also call 1-888-88-YERGS, 844-GAY-LGBT on, I don't have it on, I'll have to add it to the thing scrolling across your screen right now, but if you're using WhatsApp, +1 267 716 1932. And then if you're calling from Australia, we've got access to that number now. It's area code 07 4994 3165. I'll take some calls now. I'll take them at any time. I'm trying to get you guys to call and stop texting. But I'll take calls for for anything. I'm fumbling. I'll answer that during the break. That's what I tried to say. And I'll do it live too, and you will be live. Nothing to be scared of. If I could just find the commercials. There we go. All right. This is Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back right after this.
Hey gang, it's Yergs, host of Up the Middle. With my university degrees in history and political science, and 21 years as a special agent in U.S. Secret Service, I've lived what others can only talk about. Join me, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, Monday through Friday, on Yergs Radio, Rainbow Radio, and Right Talk Radio. Up the Middle. Politics for the rest of us.
Cameo. It's like a Irish friend. Cameo. That's where you can have celebrities. Not that I think I'm a celebrity, just work with me here. Where you can have celebrities send you a personal message for a fee, of course, but still. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to cameo.com/ears/book. Cameo.com/ears/book. That's right. And for like $5 or $10, I forget what it is, but you can do it. Do it. You can get this guy. I can read you, cuss you out, call you a mega moron, and give you a pep talk. I can talk to you. Be cool. Wish you something. Good luck on a test, a job interview. Maybe you actually have a question, something about the Secret Service. Give it a shot. Let me decide if I can answer it or not. And if I can't, I'll send you that message will credit you, or I don't know how that hasn't happened yet, but you'll still get to ask another question until there's something that I can actually answer. So go to cameo.com/yergs/book, or scan the QR code on the screen, or just get the app and search for me. I'm there. And I'm using that because they're pushing again. And I guess with the NFL season starting up and some of the new people that they got, they were giving me one. I forget what his name is, but he was a quarterback. And he's there now. So they push him, but not me. I guess they're Trump supporters. I don't know. I'm goofing. But seriously, cameo.com/yergs/book. Let's do it. Cameo.com. All right. Gets a few more of these emails. I like doing this now. That way, I don't, for the longest time, I've been getting all these emails and it's great, a source of great information, but I wasn't using it. Maybe I would remember to look the story up on the internet and use some other source as the source. But, I've looked over, all these emails that I sign up for. And if it's bullshit, well, then I don't do it. But, oh, God damn it. What do I do? Well, he said it has to be on whatever. All right. Anyway. That was the Australian app for their number. I noticed that it was on headset. Oh, it's on speakerphone or headset mode. Okay. I guess speakerphone device settings. I got to make sure that this is, headset. Oh, there. That's the one. Okay. And it's okay. Good. There's some settings that I have to make sure that this is on, or I ain't going to be able to take your call. So I'm going to look like a dick that way. All right. So cameo.com/yergs/book. Like I said, let's do this. Happy to make a birthday party or other event special by making my cameo. All right. Let's get rid of that one. Yeah, I like this kid. Aaron Parnas is another independent broadcaster or another independent journalist. And I think he's a sharp guy. He's fair. He's intelligent. And he's talking about Trump threatening the complete federal takeover of D.C. Like, what's the difference? It's only going to be temporary. No one's going to continue with this once Trump's gone, which could really be as early as 2027. He loses the midterm election. New Congress comes in, Democrat Congress. I'm not like pro-Democrat. I'm just anti-Trump. Gets impeached a third time. God willing, hopefully this time the Senate's smart enough to oust his ass. So he's talking about the threatening of the complete, like, I don't know what the difference is. Like, maybe he's going to talk about that. But also I saw this, and it's not Alligator Alcatraz. Alcatraz housed hardened criminals that deserve to be in jail. This is Alligator Auschwitz, which housed people who were persecuted and does not deserve to be in jail. Not the best thumbnail start there for you, but we'll find something.
As if a takeover of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department was not enough, this morning Donald Trump is threatening a complete federal takeover of the city. Now, here's the thing. Can't actually do that without congressional support. But let's dive right into what he's saying. He's saying this morning that Washington, D.C. is safe again. The crowds are coming back, the spirit is high, and our D.C. National Guard and police are doing a fantastic job. Mayor Muriel Bowser must immediately stop giving false and highly inaccurate crime figures, or bad things will happen, including a complete and total federal takeover of the city. 1, restaurant statistics show that it is down 30%. Visitors are down 30% to restaurants in Washington, D.C. as a result of Donald Trump's federal takeover and deployment of the National Guard. 2, D.C. is unique in that it is not a state, but rather it is a city that functions as though it is a state. It has a legislative branch, an executive, and a judiciary. It is also governed by what is called Home Rule. The Home Rule Act allows Washington, D.C. to govern itself. To revoke that Home Rule and complete a full federal takeover of the city, which means that Donald Trump would essentially usurp Mayor Bowser's powers and would effectively be the de facto mayor of Washington, D.C., well, he would have to go to Congress to make that happen. Now, right now, he has majorities in the House and the Senate. But this is something that's going to require more than just a simple majority in the United States Senate. He needs a filibuster-proof 60-vote majority to do that. And right now, he doesn't have it. But that hasn't stopped him from threatening to conduct this federal takeover of D.C. And here's the thing. His deployment of the National Guard and his takeover of the Metropolitan Police Department can only last for 30 days. And we're actually coming up to the end of that 30-day period. I was out on the streets yesterday speaking with members of the National Guard who said that, they don't necessarily want to be there, but they don't have a choice to be there. These are Guards members from South Carolina and other states, other red states across the country. They are deployed. Donald Trump did his little patrol yesterday and gave out pizza to members of the National Guard and the police force at the Capitol or at the U.S. Park Police offices yesterday, but he did not actually patrol the streets. So we'll see what happens there. But ultimately, Donald Trump, while he may want a complete federal takeover of the city, he can't actually do it without congressional support. Meanwhile, overnight, a federal judge, Judge Kathleen Williams in the Southern District of Florida, a very good judge, I've actually practiced before her before, she ruled that Alligator Alcatraz, this detention facility in the middle of the Everglades that has human rights abuse allegations abound, must shut down its doors within 60 days. In the short term, it cannot accept any new undocumented migrants, and it cannot conduct any new building at the facility. Now, Florida officials have actually been expecting this. That's why they've actually shifted many of their resources when it comes to immigration enforcement to another facility that they're building in a different part of Florida, not in the Everglades, that is essentially retrofitting an old prison to house undocumented migrants. But the Alligator Alcatraz facility, that is closing. And a lot of folks say, well, the Trump administration doesn't follow judicial orders. Here's the deal. Number one, this really isn't about the Trump administration because the federal government isn't building Alligator Alcatraz. The Florida state government is. So this is about the Florida state government.
Yeah, about that. Once this started getting criticism, Trump and company washed their hands of it. They wanted nothing to do with it. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that it's possibly going to go.
And number two, they're going to have to follow this, and they will follow this ruling. And they've already started diverting resources away from the Everglades detention facility. So a major win for human rights advocates along with environmental rights advocates, because there have been a lot of concerns that building in the middle of the Everglades, a protected land, will cause serious environmental damage. In addition, according to Axios, Donald Trump is creating this type of plan or like pushing Republicans to pick up to 100 seats in the midterm elections in the House of Representatives. That is highly improbable for that to occur. But why he's doing this, or rather how he's doing this, he's essentially pushing Republicans, screw the Voting Rights Act, gerrymander as much as you can, and he's pushing Republicans in states like Florida, Indiana, and Missouri to follow the lead of Texas. We already saw Texas do it, eliminate 5 Democratic seats. He wants more Democratic seats eliminated across the country, but here's the deal. What happens in Texas will happen in California as well. And then you have New York, Illinois, Maryland, and other Democratic states that will follow suit.
So California is already, from what I understand, this is the one thing that has me nervous about California. While Gavin Newsom is also going out of season with redistricting, he's actually putting it to a vote. He's actually letting the people decide if they actually do it, who, by the way, are equally as pissed. Republicans also. Now, there are plenty of Republicans who are saying, no, you can't do that. It's okay for Texas, but not us. And we talked about that, I think it was yesterday, when we reported, very briefly, but yesterday, we reported about how the California Supreme Court said, bullshit, what's fair is fair. And in all actuality, they're right. Both states are right. There's nothing prohibiting redistricting outside of the 10-year census. It is a state's right to do that, depending on each individual state constitution. It's why New York is not able to do it right now. However, he's right. What's this kid's name? Aaron, I think. I'm brain farting now. But that's as far as we're going to go. Aaron Parnas, the Parnas perspective, is a bright kid. Does really good. When I say kid, realizing how old I am. The guy's an attorney. He puts out this daily newsletter, and still a practicing attorney. Yes, I've tried to reach out to him too. These people don't. These people don't respond to emails. I don't get it. All the cool ones respond to each other, but not to us people. And the other stuff's growing, so it's not like we're little with that anymore. But anyway, yeah. All right. Next email. What else we got? Here you go. Wow. Trump administration, reading up here in the top. Trump administration to review all 55 million U.S. visa holders. Remember when it was about the violent murderers and rapists? Remember when we couldn't give due process to so many people because it was too many? Now, all of a sudden, we're reviewing 55 million U.S. visa holders. This guy's got to go. He's got to go. And I don't mean like become, just somebody's golfing and everybody else going to do the job for him. I mean, this guy's got to be 25th Amendmented, impeached. It's beyond the fact that he's broken the law how many times. It's now also blatant incompetency. If you think saying that deporting a couple thousand immigrants who don't have criminal records, but you can't give them due process that they're entitled to by the Constitution because it's just too much. Then 6 months later, you can suddenly review 55 million visa holders? What the fuck? Where did all this talent come from all of a sudden? The guy who hires the best and the brightest one day and sends the FBI searching for classified docs the next. I don't get what the appeal still is. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you've been lied to. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's obvious. If you don't want to admit, MAGA morons, if you don't want to admit to your equally as obvious stupidity, show some smarts and admit that you've been lied to. I'm not saying you got to go supporting the next Democrat that steps up and starts talking. I'm just suggesting maybe if that's the only other option, at least in the next election, you'll be able to pick somebody else. And maybe the Republicans will have their head out of their ass by that point and put a real candidate up. I don't even want to read this email. This from the Associated Press. According to reporter Sarah Nafa, the Trump administration is reviewing all 55 million foreigners with U.S. visas for any violations. California sets a November special election on redraw congressional maps favored by Democrats. And the world's leading authority on food crisis says Gaza's largest city is gripped by famine. Also, archaeologists and divers in Egypt recover ancient artifacts from the sea. We're just going to do the foreigners thing. The Trump administration said Thursday it is reviewing more than 55 million people who have valid U.S. visas for any violations that could lead to deportation, part of a growing crackdown on foreigners who are permitted to be in the United States. In a written answer to a question from the Associated Press, the State Department said all U.S. visa holders, which can include tourists from many countries, are subject to continuous vetting with an eye toward any indication they could be eligible for permission to enter or stay in the United States. I kind of stuttered there a minute, so I'm going to say it again. With an eye toward any indication they could be ineligible for permission to enter or stay in the United States. So such information be found, the visa will be revoked, and the visa holder is in the United States, he or she will be subject to deportation. Since President Donald Trump took office, his administration has focused on deporting migrants illegally in the U.S., as well as those here legally, as well as holders of student and visitor exchange visas who are here legally, not doing anything wrong. Like the guy who tried to come in with his wife. I think this one was from Canada. She gets in fine, but the officer interviewing her husband asked if he was here as a citizen, would he vote for Donald Trump? The guy said no. He was denied entry. That's a free and fair election? The State Department's new language suggests that the continual vetting process, which officials acknowledge is time-consuming, is far more widespread and could mean even those approved to be in the U.S. could be abruptly see those permissions revoked, especially if you talk out against ill. Who does his makeup? My God. There's got to be gold tint in that makeup. He looks like a character from The Wizard of Oz. There were 12.8 million green card holders and 3.6 million in people in the U.S. on temporary visas last year, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The 55 million figure suggests that some people subject to review could currently be outside the United States with multiple entry tourist visas, said Julia Galat, Associate Director of the U.S. Immigration Policy Program at the Migration Policy Institute. She questioned the value of spending resources on people who may never return to the United States. Just because there's a visa doesn't mean the person is actually in the United States. Because they left, the visa is still valid, they can come back in. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The State Department said it was looking for indicators of ineligibility, including people staying past the authorized time frame outlined in the visa, criminal activity, threats to public safety, engaging in any form of terrorist activity, or providing support to a terrorist organization. I don't know, like Benjamin Netanyahu or Russia. We review all available information as part of our vetting, including law enforcement or immigration records or any other information that comes to light, like who you would vote for, after visa issuance indicated a potential ineligibility. The U.S. will also stop issuing work visas for commercial truck drivers, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said. He said the change was effective immediately. Well, I mean, with regards to the guy that he's talking about there, the guy who I think was here illegally, had an accident before, makes this big-ass sudden illegal U-turn on the highway, killing some people. Like I said before with Dan Bongino and his anti-Pam comments, blind squirrels find nuts. I think that's what we found there. Speaking of immigrants, let's do that one. Take one more break, and we'll come back and talk about Ronnie Boy. Doge targeted him on social media. Then the Taliban took his family. This is the kind of shit that is Gestapo. This is Nazi. This is what that is. Don't argue. Argue all you want. You're wrong. This is my expertise. This is where I am saying to take what I say as gospel. How a Doge social media post upended an Afghan scholar's life. Getting doged. Doge targeted him on social media. Then the Taliban took his family. In April, a particular social media post by Doge caught my attention. This is by Avi Asher Shapiro. It alleged that Doge had found outrageous expenditures in the U.S. Institute of Peace, which is a very small, taxpayer-funded nonprofit in Washington, D.C. Doge said that it found a guy with links to the Taliban on the payroll. The claim went viral, and the online right in particular got the idea that Doge was so successful at rooting out waste and corruption that it even found payments to the Taliban. It struck me as implausible and kind of a wild claim. My reporting partner, Chris Bing, and I started looking into it. We tracked down the guy that Doge was talking about, Mohammed Halimi, and tried to figure it out. Who is this guy? Had Doge really uncovered secret payments to the Taliban, or was this a more complicated story? Turns out it was much more complicated. Shocker. Getting doged. All right, let's see if I can find a spot where I... Okay, Looks like we just got to do it right there. All right. It was early morning on April 1st when Mohammed Halimi, a 53-year-old exiled Afghan scholar, got a panicked message from his son. Halimi's name had just appeared in a viral post on Twitter, shared by none other than the site's owner and the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Halimi thought his son was joking. It was April Fool's Day, after all. Musk had been assigned a big job in the Trump administration, running the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency that was established to comb through the government to root out waste and fraud. Halimi had a much smaller job, working on a contract for the United States Institute of Peace, an independent nonprofit funded by Congress that promotes conflict resolution around the world, included in Halimi's native Afghanistan. There was no way, he thought to himself, that someone like him would have landed on Musk's radar. But Halimi's son was not joking. He told Halimi to go online and see for himself. The post, which Musk shared with his 222 million followers, was real. It had already been picked up by the local press back home, and it was potentially deadly. United States Institute of Peace funded Taliban, the post read. At the bottom, the post named Halimi and described him as a former Taliban member, and the payments to him as U.S. support for the militants. Below that, thousands of comments tumbled in, calling him a terrorist and a grifter. Republican U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene to the rescue later chimed in to congratulate Musk for discovering that the federal government is paying the Taliban, and they covered it up. Halimi couldn't make any sense of it. Critics of U.S. foreign aid efforts might argue that his small contract of $132,000 with USIP amounted to waste. But if there was one thing Washington could have known about Halimi, it was that he was no enemy of America. It was true that he'd once worked for the Taliban government that ruled Afghanistan in the 1990s. But he had switched sides after the United States invaded following 9/11. He had even served as a cabinet member in the U.S.-backed Afghan government, where he often shared his knowledge of the Taliban's internal workings with intelligence officials and military leaders. In fact, during President Donald Trump's first term in office, Halimi was part of a team of advisors that helped the U.S. prepare for difficult diplomatic talks with the Taliban, which eventually included guarantees to allow American troops safe passage out. As his political views were easy to figure out, Halimi had made numerous media appearances as one of the Taliban's more ardent critics, accusing them of straying from Islam's true principles. This all made him an obvious target. The Taliban had attempted to assassinate Halimi as a traitor at least 3 times during his U.S. occupation, and the U.S. government knew he had faced real danger in the past. He narrowly managed to flee Afghanistan in the final days before the U.S.-backed government fell to the Taliban. With the help of the second highest-ranking CIA officer in the country, since then, he had tried to live a mostly quiet life, partly to keep the relatives he'd left behind safe from retribution. The work he was pursuing with USIP had nothing to do with supporting the Taliban. It was the opposite. ProPublica had obtained records making clear that Musk and his team at the newly formed DOJ should have known this too. Halimi's work at USIP was spelled out in precise detail in the agency's records, down to the task he performed on specific days. His role at the Institute was far from top secret, but it had been treated as highly sensitive and confidential. Among other tasks, it involved a program gathering information on the ground about living conditions for Afghan women, who are largely barred from education past primary school or from having a role in public life. Particularly because of Halimi's contentious history with the Taliban, the militants might equate his work at USIP to espionage and severely punish anyone involved with it. By exposing him, Musk and his team endangered those working with Halimi, as well as his relatives who are still in Afghanistan. The White House and Musk did not respond to requests for comment. That's a picture of Halimi more recently. Multiple senior government officials in the State Department were warned about the danger that Doja's call-out posed to Halimi's family. According to two USIP staffers interviewed by ProPublica. They were trying to stop the damage from spreading, but Musk crew then locked in a pitched battle for control of USIP. The misleading narrative about Halimi became central to Doja's argument. American foreign aid was corrupt and even at times funding America's enemies, and that's why Doge had to take over. Those battles were playing out across the government at the time. Doge often won, but ultimately Musk's tenure was short-lived. He resigned from Doge at the end of May, shortly before a public falling out with Trump. Doja's hard-charging takeovers of government agencies brought chaos and confusion and left many qualified bureaucrats jobless. But Halimi risked losing a lot more. Shortly after Halimi spoke to his son, a flood of threatening messages began appearing on his phone. The most ominous came from members of the Taliban. Just as Halimi had worried, they accused him of being a thief and a traitor, which could be like a death sentence for anyone connected to him back home. My family was in great danger, Halimi thought to himself. About a week after Doge outed him, Halimi's worst fears were realized. Taliban intelligence agents in Kabul descended on the homes of his relatives and detained 3 of his family members. They were blindfolded, thrown into the backs of 4x4 pickup trucks, and driven to a small remote prison. They were held incommunicado over several days and repeatedly beaten and questioned about Halimi and his recently publicized yet ambiguous work in the United States. The account of the beatings is based on interviews with multiple people familiar with the events. ProPublica did not interview any sources in Afghanistan, a country where people are sometimes imprisoned for speaking out against the government. Zabihullah Mujahid, Zabihullah Mujahid, Mujahid, that's the one I wanted to get. Zabihullah Mujahid, chief government spokesperson for the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, said Halimi is not important to us and we do not want to talk about him that much. He added there was no active criminal investigation targeting him. The spokesperson did not answer questions about the treatment of Halimi's family, saying, I do not consider it necessary to answer. See the difference? The person being asked got to decide whether or not they want to answer. Real presidents do not treat the media that way. To keep the morale of the family high, I did not show them any panic, he told ProPublica in one of multiple interviews conducted through a translator. He's been frantically reaching out to his bosses in Washington. That was Halimi talking, by the way. He's been frantically reaching out to his bosses in Washington to ask what was behind Musk's social media blasts against him. I think we got a caller. Well, let's see what this guy has to say. Did we miss it? Oh, there we go. Oh, shit. My If you're listening, call her. Hang tight. I'm going to call you right back. He'd been frantically reaching out to his bosses in Washington to ask what was behind Musk's social media blasts against him and to seek help clearing his name. But everyone Halimi had worked with had been fired. A 28-year-old college dropout named Nate Kavanaugh had been installed as USIP's new president. Doge had ousted its leader, State Department veteran George E. Moose. Halimi and his loved ones were on their own. Maybe, they hoped, this would all pass if they just stayed quiet and lay low. Then Musk and Doge took their campaign against USIP and Halimi to another level. In May, a little more than a month later, Doge invited Fox News host Jesse Waters, who's an asshole, to sit in and film one of its team meetings. In the first major media appearance by the larger Doge team, for nearly 30 minutes on prime TV, Musk and more than a dozen triumphant young men in suits sat around a table congratulating one another. They swapped war stories about the government fraud they had exposed and the wasteful bureaucrats they had brought to a heel. At that point, Doge was riding high. It had mostly shut down the U.S. Agency for International Development, the main foreign aid agency, the watchdog Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, had been reduced to a skeleton crew, and at the Department of Education, Doge had cut hundreds of millions of dollars to internal research arm and tracks performance of public schools. I'm skipping ahead here. I kind of want to try that caller. We got a voicemail. Let's see what this is.
It's Rocker Rain from Channel 12 TV Network. You called me. I was in the middle of a show last night. So I'm calling you back today. Phone number 725-777-9313. 725-777-9313. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Well, Sport Cat, if you're hearing that, that's the guy I was supposed to talk with last night, but I didn't get a chance till a little too late. I can't stand Jesse Waters. I just think he's such a phony and a hack.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So it was a contractor. They received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
Or
nothing.
Or nothing.
or a bribe.
They're so pathetic. There's nothing good happening. And now that Doge isn't here anymore, speaking of found waste, fraud, and abuse. Oh, I hear Sport Cat. Let's just... Well, I still have hair. Hey, dude, what's happening?
Not much, brother. How are you today?
I just missed a call from, what was his name? Randy or Roger from Vegas?
Randy. Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like a caller, and I couldn't find the answer button. So I went to voicemail, and which is for the best because he wasn't calling to talk about my Doge fuck up story that we're talking about right now.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, he messaged me and said last night after his show, apparently I won't say it on the air, but he'll tell you. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's nothing major. It's just I don't want to release any of his personal information. So, but he'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah. What else you got going on?
Oh, I don't know. We got earthquakes. We got hurricanes. We got all kinds of shit. We got overdue library books. We got Rainbow Batman. We got all kinds of craziness. So
I saw that Batman going rainbow woke.
Well, that's not
it's before the rainbow flag.
Yeah, it's there. People just are stupid. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well, we caught Congresswoman Elise Stefanik in a lie, so I'm going to make sure that goes out today. John
Who is
Bolton
she?
was raided by the Bureau because I'm sure that's not retaliation for anything.
Tit
And
for
then
tat.
Trump versus Smithsonian. It was fact checked about his claims about the Smithsonian to be rated as pants on fire. And I didn't get to the DeSantis Florida Department of Transportation bullshit that they're doing because I've been going through some emails, and I'm going to do that regularly too. I think that filled time and gave me some good segments today.
I think the thing he's doing with DOT is good. So
Why is that?
because they're getting people who don't know how to drive the American way off the highway.
No, this isn't what the story I'm talking about is how he's taking pride flags out of the crosswalks and Black Lives Matter murals off the sides of buildings.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said Department of State. My bad. I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep much. So
What Department of State story? We did a Department of State story where they're going through 55 million visas, most of which aren't even here.
yeah, I saw that, but no, the one that I think's a good idea is there anybody, I guess, that's an out of state commercial truck driver. There's
Yeah,
suspending them.
Yeah,
So-
that doesn't need to be.
Well,
Like the guy who was already supposed to be out, the guy you were talking about the other day.
yeah, he's back in Florida.
Yeah, that driving.
No, in handcuffs.
Oh, okay.
They extradited him from wherever he was, out west.
I thought it was Tennessee.
No, it was he had a California and a Washington state CDL, and he scored a 17 on his Washington state CDL, and they issued it to him, and then he took a one in California, and it was like 60 something. So
And what's a passing score?
I think 70 or 80, but he still had a license.
100. Oh wow,
Well,
17.
it should be 100. Yeah. So yeah, and when he collapsed the bridge in Arkansas, his defense was that he couldn't read the sign that said that his truck weighed this much. It seems to me you should know how much your truck weighs. It's just,
Well, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I don't drive in foreign countries when I can't read the language.
yeah. I've been in Bermuda when they drive, and I've been in South America when they drive. No, thank you. They drive. I think we drive bad. Holy shit, they drive horrible.
I've driven in Central America, which is actually still part of North America. I've driven in Belize. That's okay. That is also on the right side of the road. That's actually, as much as they're British, they're actually more American than anything. Then I've also driven in St. Thomas, which even in American Virgin Islands, they drive on the left.
Yeah. I got a friend who works on an ambulance there.
You just gotta remember that, and there it's pretty much the same too. So
They told him, "You're not driving." He's from Tennessee. They told him, "So you're not driving. We got a driver for you."
good.
He's like, "Good. I don't want to."
Yeah.
So, luckily, I was chauffeured all the states and countries I was in, from the Middle East to South America to Canada to friggin' everywhere. So, and I was glad to be, because some of those drivers, I thought we were abducted in Peru, but
Nice. Because why not?
well, they sent usually they send like a Suburban or a Bronco, a large vehicle to get you to take you to the airport. And they sent two Mercedes, I don't know, the fast one, the zippy one, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And me and the flight nurse got in the back of one, and the pilot and co-pilot got in the back of one. We come out of the parking lot of the hotel. One goes left, the other goes right. And we just look at each other like, oh, fuck. And they're driving like maniacs. And they don't use the horn. Well, they do use the horn, but they use the finger as a language. So
Okay.
I don't know how fast we were going, but it seemed like we were going recklessly fast. I mean, we were being thrown around the back, and we're like, should we call somebody? Have we been kidnapped? Turns out when we get there, the two drivers were laughing. They were racing each other to see who could get there first. Like, Jesus Christ, you scared the shit out of us. You didn't speak English. We didn't know what the hell was going on.
Wow.
Yeah. We told our handler, because we always had a handler when we go out of country, and we told our handler, I said, please make sure that they note to tell them if they're going to do something like that, because we literally were like, should we be calling somebody? Are we being abducted? What's going on here?
Yeah, not to mention the fact that that's something that, beyond not being professional, it can't be legal there either, that they're racing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they were driving like maniacs. Of course, maybe they drive different than we do. Well, they obviously do, but it scared the shit out of us.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
So,
all right, man. Well, you ready to take the radio?
Oh yeah, let me push a button. It's Friday. I need a nap. Whoa, that was weird. I need a nap. I had to take the puppy to the vet this morning, so I had to get up early.
Yeah, that was me. Monday or Tuesday, I forget which day that was.
Yeah, and
I can't take one without taking both. So
yeah, and I hadn't even made it home yet. I stopped to get a drink and a biscuit on the way home, and the vet's calling me. I'm like, oh, this can't be good. So now I'm going to be worried till blood tests come back. So
what's everything?
Well, I'm really annoyed at my Georgia vet didn't catch this, but I was like,
you got the radio, by the way, right?
Yeah. I'm on. Yeah. Good afternoon to good morning, good whatever the hell it is in Australia. I'll be more professional in a minute, but yeah. So yeah, she called me, and apparently the signs that she's exhibiting, and I've been telling our vet this for probably 2 years, that she pants constantly. And I know she's got long hair, and I know she gets hot. That's why I've got a fan for her literally on the floor.
Yeah.
And so I talked to them, and I said, and she eats. Like, she would almost chew your leg off if she thought she could get more food. And the vet's like, well, those are all the signs. With, of course, she pees more, but that's because I thought she was drinking more water because she was hot. Well, it turns out that those are the signs and symptoms of Cushing's disease. So,
which is what?
It's tumors on the pituitary and adrenal glands that produce more cortisol. So we're going to do the blood test first and then go to the next stage from there. So now I'm really stressed till I get those results back. So
yeah,
they're like kids, So, all right, well, let me get out of here. My chat's going crazy, and I'm sure you want to go see the live press conference from the Oval Office right now. So,
is that happening?
Yeah, he's making some big announcement that they wouldn't say what it was. So,
shocker.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
So, Trump was right about everything. I just read his hat. Trump was right about everything. That's what his hat says. Why is he wearing? Yeah, why is he wearing a lid undercover? He's the commander in chief. He fucking knows better. Take that off, some bitch.
He doesn't know better.
Well, he should. He's the commander in chief. Get the lid off. You're under roof.
Thank you.
The rules.
All the reason why he shouldn't be there.
Well, not just because of a hat, but no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I ain't going to go that far, but you should know to take your lid off undercover. Come on. I'm a fireman and I know that shit, and I'm dumb as shit. So, all right, let me get out of here. I got a show to do. Go watch Trump. I'll bitch about his hat. So I'll talk to you later, Ross. All right. Thanks, Sherix, for allowing us to tickle your show's air.
Sportcat Jackson up next. I don't know what I'm tickling, but don't forget you can find him on YouTube. If you're still here with us on video or socials or wherever, YouTube, just search Sportcat Shows or go to @para or normal guys, 4 words, guys with a Z. Let's trying for videos here. Live U.S. News, Trump calls for immediate response on what? DC takeover. Let's see what this is.
They said are very kind people. Remember that? They used to say they're kind. They don't commit crimes. No, they make our criminals look like extremely nice people. And we have to get them out, and it's a big job. But we're doing it, and step by step. And last month, as you know, in June, we had 0
I just want to test to
people
see.
come through the border, right?
That's not even true, but that's okay. I just want to see this one, if this is the same.
Stage of competition. 48 teams will play in 104 games across 16 North American cities, from Seattle to Vancouver to Atlanta to Miami. It's going to be so exciting for our country. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be one of the largest and most complex events. This will be one of the greatest events, one of the largest. In a way, it's like Johnny said it better. It's like having many Super Bowls in a short period of time. Because each one of these games essentially is a Super Bowl. Some of them are bigger than Super Bowls, actually. But they're essentially, each one of these games is like a Super Bowl. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest, most complex set of events in sports history. And the Kennedy Center will give it a phenomenal kickoff, and we'll be involved, and they'll be working over there for quite a bit of time. We have it all set that they can stay there for the big events, the big press conferences and everything else. And they'll be in a very safe capital. That'll be nice. You don't have to worry about walking down the street, Johnny, okay?
Thank you.
But you can handle yourself.
I could.
Already, FIFA is projecting 6 million loyal fans will attend the World Cup events next year, and 6 billion more are going to be watching back home. And they think the $6 billion number is going to be actually a low number. And this will drive more than $30 billion into the U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs in a short period of time, too. No sporting event attracts more attention, more fans, more viewers, or more revenue than the FIFA World Cup. And again, I'll just say it's the World Cup, and it's the biggest thing there is in sports, and we have it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the biggest. But you're trying. Trump was right about everything. Oh, my God. How much more pathetic can you get? Don't tell. Don't tell him I asked that. I don't want him trying to top himself. All right. I did I not have that on the video? Oh, for fuck's sake. You didn't miss much. And I got to piss, and I got to call this guy back. And I got another call in 50 minutes, 49 minutes. All right, everybody. Thanks for getting off the porch and running with the big dogs and going with us once again up the middle. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday.